the first to know Nsem-Pii TV.
In fact, Ebra God of Ododo na who say enormous development koso your railway sector. Na energy Nsem-Pii, especially railway kwan a kama aban yi aboka aye efri tema ede ebesi mpakadan na wo hwe rail over water akosombo kama over the water lake na je se ni nyina eye energy na energy kra no a esan eba mu kese eye bra yenya antiye from the Ministry of Railway Development say Ghana etumi apurchase two ultra modern speed diesel multiple unit trains every Pesa Engineering Company Limited ya omo Poland na enokra so akwa yense bibribe ebeba just 2 weeks ago na Pesa trains lande ewo the Tema Harbor ya chese engineers etumi move trains ye free Tema Harbor na omakoye installation works kama ewo the Tema to Mpakadan rail line na Pesa engineers coupled with Ghana Railway Authority, the Ministry of Railway Development, a test run of the newly acquired speed trains, diesel multiple unit speed trains, ewo Tema Mpakadan rail line. Yawo nyumre ya yankwankwote a press release from Ministry of Railway Development abase the newly acquired train akonya accident ewo Tema Mpakadan rail line so. Yes, asemi di in fact nwanwa na yede na train na enya adwuma da na ye test run etumi konya accident na accident no kra dia nwanwa wo ho ne se yes kia na obi a sheda apake across the rail line on a curve tinache se train ni negotiate curve no ye mu hwenyi na wo se odi bomu a no casualties were recorded here but the report say minor damages bi aka train no na Nyankopon ayadon the Minister Ankasa of Railway Development, the Honorable John Peter Amewu, the course so nyina wo huni. Nti ye pese ye kwani ye kotie from the minister's own mouth say e die ne besi amu obi atumi apake kia across the railway line. Omanya inte bi se na intentional na sabotage. Na e die mpo na ato the diesel multiple unit trains newly acquired ones ye call a free person. Ye kwani ye kotie the Honorable John Peter Amewu.
With our Polish engineers, with the Ghana Railway Development Authority and the company, conducted a test run. And from kilometer 0, which is at the workshop, Tema, towards kilometer 98 at Mpakadan. On approaching kilometer 76, a Kia truck parked right across the rail line. Stationary. And, it was in a curve. So as the train approached, the driver tried to apply the static brake to enable the train stop. But because it was very close to the Kia truck, unable to stop and therefore ran straight into it. The engineers are currently working on it. The train has been brought back to the workshop. The Kia driver himself has reported himself to the police station. But the conduct of the driver as of now cannot be well explained. And the good one is that all the passengers and the inspectors on board the train, of course, none of them got injured. And we are currently in the process of assessing the damage to the train. Technically, I would say the train is still in very good form. Nothing in terms of electrical or the engine has been disturbed, except the front that got slightly damaged. The Polish engineers who were assembling the train are in charge, expected to be handed over to government, but government had not yet taken a complete ownership of the train. So we are hoping that the insurance company will work on it as quickly as possible for us to put this train back on the line.
So where exactly did this happen, these accidents? The kilometer 76?
Kilometer 76, that's getting quite close to Mpakadan, yeah.
So it had crossed the Volta River by then?
Precisely.
I see. Talk to us about. So you said everybody on board was safe.
Everybody is safe. Yeah.
The Kia truck driver has reported himself. There were no
Precisely.
passengers on the Kia truck, I presume.
My brother, it was quite an unfortunate incident because what we were told, eyewitness, said categorically that they saw the Kia driver. He drove his truck, then went and parked straight across the rail line, came down from the car, and then vanished. And so nobody knows what prompted him to do that. The intention is not quite clear. I don't want to read any ill motives into it at this stage, but I can assure you that the police are in charge of the investigations, and at the appropriate time will feed Ghanaians with what actually happened.
Was the test run publicized so that someone may know that a train is going to pass through a certain point at a certain time? And I'm talking about possibility of someone doing this on purpose. Was this test run advertised or publicized?
Well, of course, the engineers, they normally use this, the maintenance truck on the line. So, of course, they inform people, by that this thing is going to be conducted. And this is a train line, which the maintenance vehicle always slide on it. So, yes, of course, communities along knows that this process is ongoing.
Could there also be a possibility that they do not know that it's going to be used by a regular train? Because, it's a new line, which is
I agree perfectly with you, but as our culture needs to change as a country. You don't... This is a train line. It's been constructed not quite long, but they are constantly... the maintenance truck, run on that line almost every day. So, under no circumstances would you have to drive your car and park on it.
Even the line.
The maintenance truck. I was on the maintenance truck just about 2 days ago. We taking a drive from Tema to Mpakada. We had to stop almost about 5 stops because people were sleeping on the line. People were, doing all kinds of things, drying. People were washing their things and drying in across the line. So I agree that we need to do a lot of education, as human as we are, and people from, this part of the world. We will continue to do that kind of education, which I agree perfectly with you.
Even busy lines like the one at Circle is a place where goods are exhibited for sale. People only move them when the train is coming. So it's really going to be a difficult one. I don't know what you're going to do because you can't police the track every day, 24 hours a day. And at intersections that you have done overpasses, that shouldn't be a problem. But because you have a lot of intersections where roads are crossing the rail line, I don't know what you're going to do. Maybe level crossings. How are you going to deal with that? Put people at those stations. It's going to be a lot of work, isn't it?
This particular line is a modern line. If you look at the underpass and the overpasses that have been constructed along this line, we don't expect anybody to cross this train line. The designers have taken all this into consideration. So if you ride down from kilometer 0 to, Mpakada, you see a number of underpasses and overpasses. Okay. So this is not like the old ones where you have, people crossing left and right. If you want to cross and the train is moving, you either go underpass or you go overpass, depending on the kilometer at which you are. As much as we continue to do the education and the training of the people around, it's also expected that as a country, we should begin, to change some of this attitude. I agree with you that the old lines people are there, but those ones, because there are no underpasses and overpasses, this one has been constructed to fit the modern practices, so we have to adhere to the culture of, doing the right thing.
Let's talk about this new train you were test driving or test riding today. We brought it from Poland. Is it for us? Is it for some private person? Tell us the story around this new train we have.
This is purchased by His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo's government for the good people of Ghana. So it's not for any other person. It's for the people of Ghana and for the Republic of Ghana, So it's our train. It's part of the aggressive agenda by His Excellency to make sure that we revitalize our railway sector. So it's for us Ghanaians, and it's going to be run, by Ghanaians. Training has been conducted, and I can assure you that this would, add a number of value to the people who live there in terms of their transportation down to Accra.
Can we know what the terms of purchase are? Did we buy it on a loan? Did we pay upfront?
It was an outright purchase. It was an outright purchase, and it's going to be run by Ghanaians.
So it will belong to the Railway Development Authority. How much did we buy this train for, please? And how many coaches
I'm
do
not
we
in
have?
a position, but I think that one of them is in excess of about 7 million, if I'm right.
Dollars or cedis?
Yes, dollars.
Dollars. So we bought two trains.
Yes, please.
How many coaches per train?
This is not for freight. This is for passenger. So this is a DMU. We call it diesel multiple unit or double multiple unit, whatever it is. But it's a diesel multiple unit. So you have both the front end and then the back end. So it doesn't have the coaches attached because it's solely for passenger but not for freight.
So it's just one short bus. It's not number of buses.
It can carry quite close to about 200. So it's quite long. It's a long and a very beautiful train. It has a lot of beautiful facilities and modern facilities, charging points, urinal, toilets, communication system. You enjoy. This is the train that you can take, on any long distance. You're traveling from the modern world to any other part of the country.
I was going to complain that you should have taken me on the test ride so I see for myself. But considering the accident you encountered today, I'm happy I didn't.
No. I'm going to do that. My only fear is that maybe you wouldn't want to come down if you board that train. It's so comfortable.
I'll alight at Loam and then walk to Asuchari Junction. But
we'll definitely do that.
So there are two of them.
There's going to be a tour for weekends. We're going to run a tour for people who want to use the train for other purposes. So there's a lot of facility coming on board when the president commissioned this.
Did we bring both into the country, or one is in the country for now?
One is in the country now. The other one is on the way. Yeah.
Interesting.
So we're going to commission this, start running it, and then it's joined by the second one.
When are we commissioning it? Do you have a date yet?
We expected to do this. We want to do the test run for at least 3 weeks. So we expected to do this in by the close of May or first week in June. Our expectation is that the test run should be done at least for between 2 to 3 weeks. Then the president comes and commissions the train together with the line. You've seen the line, very beautiful.
Yes.
From Tema to Mpakadan.
Yes, I have.
The first ever rail bridge that we have had in the South region. A rail bridge across River Volta Ascension. Very, very beautiful one, of course. And it serves also as a tourist potential for this country. So as Ghanaian, we need to be extremely grateful for what His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo has done once again. I'm quite happy myself.
That train track was intended to cut goods from the Tema port to the batches on the Volta River or Volta Lake for northwards bound traffic, so that people from Burkina and Niger who are coming to take goods from us will not have to bring their trucks down south here, so that we would dispatch the goods on the batches and take them to Yape or wherever it would terminate on the Volta River. So the thinking was that you were going to put cargo trains on the line. Why are you putting passenger trains on the line?
No. Every train line, depending on the intent, we either have freight or passenger. So we are not only putting a passenger on it; it's also going to be a freight. The freight will come in when the terminal at Mpakadan is completed, and also we need to make sure that together with the Ministry of Transport, some work would have to be done, along the Volta line, upward, so that it will be very easy to put a badge, on that line, the river, and then run the goods to that end. So that is in progress. It's work in progress. While we continue to pursue that agenda, what we intend to do within the medium term now is to start the operation of a passenger while we work towards the freight arrangement in the near future. Are
you going to put both passenger trains on this particular line, or the second one, which is yet to come, would be on a different line?
No, it's going to be on the same line. It's the same line, just like a route from Accra to Kumasi. It takes both private vehicles and then the articulator or the long vehicle. So
no. I'm talking about the two passenger lines from trains from Poland. Both of them are going to be on the Tema Akosombo line. Precisely,
because it's constructed for a double gauge, not the standard
gauge,
not the narrow gauge that we see. So this is a standard gauge. So it's going to work to fix that.
Okay. The question that would come up is, have you done the analysis, the passenger analysis, to know how many people from Akosombo come to Accra daily or Tema daily, and whether or not these people would be willing to join the train, so that it's not going to be an empty train on the tracks where we would be losing money?
Yes, some feasibility studies have been done. And of course, again, you have to admit the fact that this is a social service. All across the world, running a train business in terms of the passenger, it's not economically a viable business. There's always that viability gap that are closed by governments across the world. Until you begin to run a free business, then you begin to make some return on your investment. We have done some feasibility studies, of course, and we expect that within the first month to start with, we are going to have about 70%, capacity full of this train moving between Bon, Japan, and then the Tema. The capacity of the train is, I think, is in excess of about 200 people. And so if we are able to run on that, we should be able to cover our operational costs at least, but not necessarily to cover the initial investment cost, which is quite expensive.
I'm familiar with that area. I'm familiar with where the train lines pass, and I'm also familiar with where the Tema Akosombo Road passes. The line is a bit far from the main Tema to Akosombo Road, where you have people inhabiting. How are you going to deal with that? Because if I were living at Asuchari Junction, it would take me a lot of time to move to, say, Agomeda or Lom or Gigedokun, where I go to board this train. If I were living in Akuse or Kpong, it would take me a longer time to go to where the train passes. How are you going to arrange that particular transport service? Because the rail line is not moving along the main road. So how are you going to get passengers to move all the way there, western side of the line?
What we've done now is to construct what we call access roads from the main road to the train station. We have over 8 train stations, modern train stations, built to specification that passengers can go and park their vehicles, wait for the train. The train is going to run, according to time. So you can drive there. We have a very vast parking area where you park your vehicles, and then you can board the train depending on your time of arrival. So it's very convenient. People, if you are moving from Akosombo now to Tema, you agree with me, the traffic density, especially as you get close to the Tema runabout, the traffic density is quite intense. And so people ordinarily will now begin to park their vehicle and join the train to Tema. I mean, if I'm even traveling from home and I get to Pong, I think it would be ideal for me to join a train from Pong to Accra, than to go through that traffic, which is going to take you almost about 2 to 3 hours. So we expect passengers to get interested in this new arrangement and also see some traffic on the line as we progress.
It sounds good, but if I took a train from Juapon, where the line passes again, I would be happy that the train terminates in Accra. I don't want to stop at Tema. What measures are you putting in place to ensure that when the train gets to Tema, it continues to Accra and vice versa from Accra to Juapon, so that I don't have to know that I need to go to Tema to take a train to Akosombo, or I have to end at Tema when I'm coming to Accra? What can you do? Because we already have a line to Accra, don't we?
Yeah, currently there's a section, the narrow gauge runs from Tema to Accra currently. And so from Mpakadan to Tema, we're going to synchronize the time arrival of that train so that they will be able to move from Tema to Accra. We're trying to bring another train from Takoradi. Currently, there are 2 trains in Takoradi. One of them being parked for some years now, but not being used. It's fairly new. So we are bringing that to Accra to complement the old narrow gauge that we have. So when this one arrives, those who are going to Accra, of course, can board the old one, which is running on the narrow gauge to Accra, from Tema to Accra. That arrangement is taken care of. Yeah.
So this means that the new train we have cannot use the Tema to Accra line. It's not possible, technically.
No, because it has not been designed for that. the design, as I stated earlier on, specifically for a standard gauge. So you cannot drive from a standard gauge onto a narrow gauge and continue.
So it means that if you're coming from Akosombo to Accra, you have to take the first train, end at Tema, and then take the second one from Tema to Accra.
Precisely.
I see. Someone has sent me a question to ask you. He says, does a train have a radar? And this has to do with the accident, which radar I believe would have prompted the train about obstruction ahead.
Yes, this train has all the modern facilities. As we started a test run today, those facilities are also being worked on, and so the detection of the vehicle on the line was not affected in terms of the arrival. What happened actually is that the driver was able to see some few this time because it was parked in the tent. But the radar and the other detection facilities have not yet been put into full implementation.
Okay, so we do not have
the assembling of this train commenced just about 3 weeks. So what we're doing now is just testing the physical stability of the train itself to see the level at which it can move.